So a typical like workday in the West is like from 8 till 5 or 9 till 5. Usually they probably leave at about 7. And you start working from about 8 to 5. This is known as usually full-time work. But we have other kinds of work too, don't we? We have part-time work where people work less than full-time. Some of them work 4 hours a day. Some of them just work, according to flexible time. That means as long as their work gets done, they can do it at usually any point in the day, right? Or any point in the week, sometimes even, right? And some people with flexi time can even, work from home. Not always, but a lot of people these days are working from home and the office. We call this also like a hybrid use of time. It combines the best of two things. So a hybrid approach usually means that you can work in the office and you can work from home. And ever since COVID, some people have been able to do this quite well. Okay. So we've got lots of things and lots of trends. Some jobs might be quite popular. What jobs? Could you tell us? What is a job that is quite popular in Vietnam? You with us? You might want to turn your camera down. All we can see is your roof. What do you think? What jobs? I'm going to ask you. What jobs are popular in Vietnam at the moment? It's a very popular job. Everybody wants to study it. Everybody wants to become it. Or everyone wants to do it.
I don't know.
You don't know anything? Okay, well, I'm sure like tech jobs are very popular in Vietnam. I know a lot of my friends from Vietnam. They all are very, very, very technological. So they like technology. They like IT. I've seen a lot of people from Vietnam are very good at making things with their hands as well. Like particularly good at making things, right? Maybe, for example, a lot of people want to start their own business, right? Usually an online business. Some trends gain popularity, they become more popular, especially online business these days, for example, has become much more popular. Okay. We have this adjective in English, and it's a very, very nice one. And it's a good high scoring lexical resource in the IELTS exam, right? Well paid means you make a lot of money. What professions are well paid? Or if you want a more advanced word, lucrative. Lucrative means it's worth a lot of money. Okay, lucrative. Quite a nice advanced word. But what jobs are well paid? Who can tell me? There's lots of well paid jobs, right? Dyson, what do you think? What jobs are well paid?
The job I think have a well-paid job I think is manager.
A manager. Yeah. Managers can make, yeah. And what other jobs?
Uh, chairman. I think so.
A chairman?
Yes.
Like that, like a chairman.
Um,
Okay. Maybe doctors also, like lawyers. They're generally paid quite well, right? Maybe not teachers. If you want a well-paid job, then don't become a teacher. Okay. So there are some professions that are very well paid, right? But maybe that's one of the reasons why people pursue a job. Not maybe all of them, Maybe you should pursue a job because you love doing it as well, right? Okay. So in English, I'm going to look at a few sentences over here. I'm currently working as, be careful over here, right? Look at the structure over here, working as an English teacher. A lot of people say, I want to be teacher, for example, but the correct English is I want to be a teacher, right? Or a doctor. Okay. You could also talk about like one day I see myself working as an English teacher. Notice that these words over here, they sound like one word combined. As a doctor, as a lawyer, as a manager. It sounds like one word, right? As an, and then plus the job title sounds like one word. So if you want to sound a little bit more natural as you talk about this, then make that sound like one word in your pronunciation. Okay. I hope to get a permanent. Oh, that's all the time, right? If something's permanent, it means you always have it, right? It's always there. Okay. Full-time job in the future. Yes. A lot of people want to work full-time. A lot of people don't want to work full-time. I deeply love studying in my house because the teachers and students are very friendly and kind. Maybe there are reasons or things that you might like in your job one day, on top of your salary. Okay, so you one day will get a salary, and then there will be sometimes at jobs, we call them perks or benefits. So, one benefit, for example, that a company might give you is like health care. Or maybe there is a canteen where you can get food, or maybe a bar where you can get beers one day, or something like that, right? Or maybe even an on site gym where they give you membership to, like, free gym. So you could get lots of perks, right? Think about the industry you want to work in, the type of job you want to be in, the things that you want to get from that job, not just money, but maybe other things too, right? This is a nice one. As you probably already know, I prefer the word broaden. To broaden my horizons sounds a little bit more like what a native English speaker would say. Okay, so maybe you want to travel or learn new things. It's to gain experience. It's to learn more about things that you don't know, right? Lots of things can broaden your horizons. And all of you, as you enter the world of work, you will find that you are learning a lot about the world, a lot that you didn't know beforehand, right? Okay. So maybe certain careers are gaining popularity, or even a major. That's like a main field when you study. So, for example, if you say, I want to major in take IT, it means I want to study it, that I want to make my main degree IT, right? So you could say things like, if you're talking about studying, I want to major in IT or law or, for example, medicine. Okay. It's very nice English, right? If you use this, I want to major in, make that my main focus of study one day. Okay. And hopefully you can go and work in different industries and sectors and you can find well-paid jobs as well. I know maybe when you're younger, you think, money, whatever. But when you get a little bit older and you're having to fight for a living, money becomes a lot more important. Yeah. Okay. If you want to take a screenshot of this, please do so now. I'm going to put it on the board a little bit later on so that you can refer to it as well. But if you want a screenshot of it, please take a screenshot now. Okay. So let us move on, and we're going to go into part number 1, speaking, the short, easy part. Remember, your answers only need to be about 3 to 4 sentences for part 1, speaking. That's only about 25 seconds, right? So don't forget, short and sweet answers are what we are trying to work towards. Short, simple, sweet answers with nice grammar, with nice vocabulary. Okay. So let's have a look at in-class exercise number 1. You can all open up in-class exercise number 1, please. Okay, maybe I can ask you quickly. Can you see exercise number 1? If you can, just raise your hand for me, please. Okay, one hand, two. Only two of you? Who else? 3. 4. Are you winning? Can you see in class exercise number 1? Maybe reset your page if you can't, please. And then let me know. Can you see it? Okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to put this up on the board in a moment. It's quite simple. It just says listen to a recording of part 1 of a speaking test, and then match the speaker with the pictures below, right? Match the speaker, Nina. We're specifically looking out for or listening out to one speaker over here, Nina. What job does she do? A, B, C, or D. So all you have to do is choose a picture, A, B, C, or D over there. And then I want you to talk about, for example, decide over here, does she work or is she a student? Right? Does she work or is she a student? So just 2 questions for you to answer. Let's have a listen to the recording.
What do you do? Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student. I'm doing a part-time fashion and textiles course. I'm at Milton College in the center of the city. I'm in my 3rd year, and at the moment I'm studying 12 hours a week.
Are you enjoying it?
Oh yes, I am. I think it's great. I particularly like working with different materials like wool and leather. And I've just made a beautiful scarf, and it's made out of plastic. It looks very strange, but I think it's great. It's pretty amazing, in fact.
Would you like to learn anything new in the future?
Yes, I would. I'd really like to learn how to use computer software to create new designs. This should also help me create new shades of color. Using technology in this way would be really challenging for me, I think.
And is there a job you'd really like to do in the future?
Yes, there is. I'd love the chance to become a fashion photographer. And if I do well on my course and get some experience of taking pictures at my college fashion shows, perhaps my dream will come true. I've just bought myself a new digital camera, and I've already learned how to take some great close-up shots.
All right. So for Nina, decide which picture suits her best, and then choose either does she work or is she a student? All right. I want to ask some of you, maybe you can tell us quickly, which picture matches Nina best? You with us? A, B, C, or D? Not quite sure. Don't forget, we can't hear you. You are on mute. Not. Anybody know? Which picture did you choose? A, B, C, or D?
D.
D is definitely the best picture that suits her, right? And what do you think? Tyson, is she working as is she working or is she a student? Any idea? Nobody knows? Yes.
Is student.
She's a student. Yeah, she's actually busy studying at the moment, right? So she's busy studying. Yeah. She is a student. Yeah. So hopefully you got a good idea. Maybe the exercise was quite simple, but the it's always good to listen to a lot of good answers for part one speaking because you know what to expect then, right? When it comes to you giving answers. Okay. So we're going to listen to that recording again. All of you can open up in class exercise number 2, right? Please do open up in class exercise number 2. It says, listen again and number the following in the order that Nina talks about them. Okay, so you're going to have to listen carefully this time and decide which one comes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? You just have to decide on the order of these 6 sentences. The first one is what job she would like to do in the future. So job in the future, right? What would she like to do in the future? Okay. How many hours a week she works or studies for the second one. What she does. Okay. D, what she would like to learn in the future. Okay. The next one, what she thinks about her work or studies. And the last one, where she works or studies. Okay, all you have to do is number those from 1 to 6. We're going to have a listen to that same recording again, right? Pay attention, and all you have to do is put them in the correct order.
What do you do? Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student. I'm doing a part-time fashion and textiles course. I'm at Milton College in the center of the city. I'm in my 3rd year, and at the moment, I'm studying 12 hours a week.
Are you enjoying it?
Oh, yes, I am. I think it's great. I particularly like working with different materials like wool and leather. And I've just made a beautiful scarf, and it's made out of plastic. It looks very strange, but I think it's great. It's pretty amazing, in fact.
Would you like to learn anything new in the future?
Yes, I would. I'd really like to learn how to use computer software to create new designs. This should also help me create new shades of color. Using technology in this way would be really challenging for me, I think.
And is there a job you'd really like to do in the future?
Yes, there is. I'd love the chance to become a fashion photographer. And if I do well on my course and get some experience of taking pictures at my college fashion shows, perhaps my dream will come true. I've just bought myself a new digital camera, and I've already learned how to take some great close-up shots.
Okay, she loves that camera, right? She wants to go more into that photography side of things. Okay, cool. So Try your best to put them in the correct order. You've got about 20 seconds to do so. If you don't know, take your best guess and please send your answers in. All right. Okay. I'm going to give you all permission. You two, are you able to keep your cameras turned on, please? That is a class rule. There we go. All right. You all have permission. So please just write the numbers on the board. Quickly write down the numbers on the board. In what order did you hear Nina talk about her interests and her studies, what she'd like to do in the future? Anybody know? You can write. Grab your pens. There we go. 1, what she does. Number 1. Anybody know number 2? We've got number 1 on the board. 5 of you. How many hours she works and studies? Yeah, that's number 2. Okay. Some of these coming together. Yeah, sorry. Where she works and studies was number 2. This one was number 3. Number 4, yeah, what she thinks about her work and studies. Well done. Number 5, what she'd like to learn in the future. That's correct. Number 3, how many hours she works. Yeah, and the last one, obviously, is the last remaining one. Number 6, well done, all of you. Yeah, what job she would like to do in the future. There we go. That's the idea. Aha. Okay, cool. So once again, just listening to other part 1 answers gives you a general idea of what your answers should ideally sound like. You'll notice that she usually gives a bit of a direct answer, and then she explains herself a little bit, right? So please don't just say yes or no. Remember, you don't have to tell the truth in your answer. What matters most is that you use natural language. And if you need to make things up because you can't think of anything, that's okay, right? It's okay to do that. You can lie or you can make up things as long as they are reasonable or believable, right? Okay. Don't make up crazy things, and don't lie for the sake of lying. Don't make up things just because you want to make up things. Make up things if you need to make up a story or add information when you don't know what to say, right? Getting good at making up things is really good. It's a very useful skill to get good at, right? For the IELTS exam, because sometimes you might not know what to say. So being able to, in English, we say, think on your feet. It means to basically think and give answers in the moment, right? And to improvise or use the ideas that you do have, right? Even if they're not entirely true, it's okay. Okay. All of you, you can go into the very next exercise, which is in class exercise number 3. Please do open up in class exercise number 3. Okay. So it's basically the similar kinds of questions that you saw being asked earlier, but this time it's asking you to actually think about the ideas that you might have for yourself, right? But I think we can also probably listen to some of her ideas again. I think it's all right to do that. Or maybe, yeah, maybe no. I think for the time being, it's okay. What I want you to do is just think about some notes for yourself, right? So replace she with you there, right? And I want you to basically piece together just some basic ideas. So, what job would you like to do in the future? Maybe don't just tell me the job, but give me 2 other points, at least 3 points or 3 sentences, right? You can give a 4th sentence too, but maybe you want to, for example, remember we can use those words. I want to work, right? To work as a. Sounds like one word, right? Work as a doctor one day. Why do you want to help it? Why do you want to do that? Maybe you want to make a lot of money, or maybe you also want to really help people and cure diseases, right? Maybe you want to work in a special field of medicine, like, for example, pediatrics takes care of young children, right? Maybe you want a lot of money and maybe you want to drive a nice fancy car and usually things like that. Or, for example, you could give other reasons, right? Like a doctor is usually well respected. Notice well paid, well respected. We can use adjectives like this using verb 3, past participle. That was well said. He's very well read. That was well spoken. I'm using verb 3 to form nice adjectives. My friend, he's very well loved. A lot of people love him, right? Okay. So, what I want you to do is think about some ideas and then we are going to talk about them. I'm going to put you into groups and basically, right, just think of the question. So, let's turn these into questions and I want you to practice, right? I'll turn them into questions, but just get some ideas on how you want to answer these questions. Okay. I'm going to give you about 1.5 minutes to think about some ideas and then I'm going to put you into groups. Okay. Okay. These are the questions I'd like you to think about. I'm going to play the recording one more time. You can get some more ideas on how to answer the questions, right? If you do need some additional time to think about these, then here's that recording one more time, right? So let's listen to it one more time. I'm going to put you into groups and we'll practice speaking.
What do you do? Do you work or are you a student?
I'm a student. I'm doing a part-time fashion and textiles course. I'm at Milton College in the center of the city. I'm in my 3rd year, and at the moment, I'm studying 12 hours a week.
Notice how she extends her answer there, right? I'm a student. This is where I study. This is how many hours I study. This is the location of the place. She adds information, right? 3 to 4 sentences, right?
Are you enjoying it?
Oh, yes, I am. I think it's great. I particularly like working with different materials like wool and leather. And I've just made a beautiful scarf, and it's made out of plastic. It looks very strange, but I think it's great. It's pretty amazing, in fact.
Ah, okay. So she answers the question. She tells you what she likes doing, what she likes making, and she gives an actual example of what she does, right? She's made like a scarf and, a particular thing. She doesn't just give a yes or no. She gives a direct answer. She adds information,
Would
relevant
you like to
information.
learn anything new in the future?
Yes, I would. I'd really like to learn how to use computer software to create new designs. This should also help me create new shades of color. Using technology in this way would be really challenging for me, I think.
And is there a job you'd really like to do in the future?
Yes, there is. I'd love the chance to become a fashion photographer. And if I do well on my course and get some experience of taking pictures at my college fashion shows, perhaps my dream will come true. I've just bought myself a new digital camera and I've already learned how to take some great close-up shots.
All right, all of you, I'm going to put you into groups and I want you just to practice asking each other questions, right? You ask, you answer. Back and forth, right? And then ask your friend and listen to their response. Okay. So they ask you, you answer, you ask them, right? You answer back and forth with these questions. You two need to keep your cameras turned on, please. Last time. These two keep your cameras on. Okay. I'm going to put you into groups and I'm going to jump between the groups and listen to you speak. We might have to have only 2 groups, but that's okay. All right. Taisan, can you begin for us? You can pick a question for your classmate, right? You can ask your classmate a question.
What job would you like to do in the future?
Yes. Oh, hopefully we can hear you. What job would you like to do in the future?
Yes. Yes, in police.
A police officer. Okay. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you like to be a police officer?
Because it's a race. Mm, um, I don't.
Okay. It's good. Does it make money? Do you help people? What are very basic ways of expressing your ideas, talking about your ideas? Okay.
I want
What does
to
yeah? You can ask your friend a question, right? Would you like to ask a question? You can pick a question, any question. All right, you two, I'll be back with you in a moment. Just give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to ask the first question, right? Could you pick somebody and ask them a question, please? Ming, are you with us? Can you keep your camera on, please? There we go. You can ask anybody any question. Maybe the ones in orange.
Oh, what job would you like to do in the future? Like,
What would you like to do in the future?
Uh, I want to be a doctor. I do this for money.
Okay, to make money. Okay. Um, and you could talk about other things too, right? What else? Why else would you want to be a doctor? Only for the money? Maybe you could tell us what kind of doctor? What kind of doctor would you like to be? Where would you like to work? Any ideas? Don't forget to unmute your mic if you are talking. Not sure. Nia, I'm going to ask you, what would you like to learn in the future?
I I want to work as a business because it can have a lot of money and help the poor people and old people.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. I'm going to ask you a question as well. Where would you like to work or study? Well, are you with us? Where would you like to work or study one day? Any ideas? Or I could ask you, what would you like to do one day? I'm not sure. All of you, are you still a bit shy? Nobody's speaking today. Where would you like to work or study? Maybe you can tell us about studying. Where would you like to work or study? Not sure. All right, Tyson, I want to give you a moment. What job would you like to do in the future?
Me,
Yes,
um, I want to be a manager.
manager. What kind of manager?
Uh, a manager of a big office or bank. I think so.
Okay. And why would you want to be a manager?
Because if have a best high, I can have a lot of money from to do a manager.
From being a
Uh,
manager,
from the
right?
um,
Yeah.
being a manager.
From being a manager, you can make lots of money. Okay. And is there anything you would like to learn in the future?
I want to learn enterprise leadership in the future.
A, a leadership.
No, just
Oh,
enterprise leadership.
okay, I see. All right. Thank you. Okay, I want to ask you, what would you like to learn in the future? If you go to university and study, what would you like to learn? Or where, right? One of these two questions. What would you like to learn? Or where would you like to learn or study? Not sure. All of you. All right. The class is very, very shy. But we need to get over that, all of you, right? We need to talk a little bit and extend our answers a little bit, right? This is about learning and growing, trying, right? Part of learning is just trying, okay? Even if it's, not as good as you want it to be, it's okay. To try is very important, right? Trying is important. Okay. All of you, I'm going to open up the next activity because we need to move on if we want to finish. Um, Please do open up in class exercise number 5. Okay, please do open up in class exercise number 5. Here it is. It's on the board. It says, look at the information about what happens in part 2 of the speaking test. Okay, can you put the stages A to F in the correct order? In what order do these events happen? What happens first? Who can tell us maybe what happens first? Does anybody have an idea? Okay, well, the very first one is this one here, right? They give you a card and they ask you to prepare your talk, right? For part 2 speaking. This is the very first step, the very first activity, the very first thing that is going to happen in the IELTS speaking test. Okay. What happens second, third, fourth, and fifth? Got about 2 minutes to complete it, okay? All right. This concludes the time. If you're not done, maybe take a best guess. All of you, you've got permission. You can write on the board. What do you think happens second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth? What is the order of these events? Might want to write the numbers down, not the letters. Yeah. There we go. Number 2, you read the card carefully. Make sure that you understand the card carefully. If you don't understand something, ask the examiner. Ask them for help. Please, sir, can you explain this? Or please, ma'am, what does this mean? What does that mean? Okay. Make sure you understand what is on the card before you start talking. Number 3, you get some time to make notes on the task card. Right? You get some time to make notes on the task card. Okay. And you have 1 minute to make those notes. Number 4, try to talk for as long as you can. Well, the 2 minutes, right? Don't go beyond that. But try to talk about all the points on the card. We're going to have a look at an example of a card in a moment. But try talk about all of the points on the task card. Okay. Number 5, you stop talking when the examiner tells you to, yes. And then usually the examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions, sometimes 3 at the most, right? These are follow-up questions. Your answers only need to be very short, right? About 20, 25 seconds, 3 to 4 sentences. Okay. All right. So just remember, right, when you're asked in, whether it's part number 1 or part number 2, if you are asked about your work or studies, try to give full answers. Even if you keep your ideas very simple, right? I want to be a doctor because I want to make a lot of money. Generally, doctors are well respected. People, value doctors quite a lot, but they also have a very important job. They help save people's lives and they really contribute, right? They make a difference to society by helping people who are sick, who are ill, right? So try talk about anything relevant to the question where you can add information, right? You can talk about your feelings about your job or your course, right? Maybe you are wanting to study something because you really love doing that. Or maybe you are busy studying and you don't like the course. Either way, you can talk about your feelings as well. Okay. So don't give a simple yes or no answer. Try to expand upon your answer as best you can. Right. Okay. I'm going to give you a task 2 card. Okay. Remember, task number 2, test your ability to organize your ideas and then speak with fluency, right, on ideas. You will have only one topic. So it might be about work, or it might be about studying, or it might be about shopping, or your hometown, your friends, your family member, right? You have 1 minute to prepare. You have 2 minutes to talk in total. Okay. So all of you can go into in-class exercise number 6. You can open up the next activity, which is in-class exercise number 6. Okay, I'm going to put it on the board. I want you to have a look at this. This is what a task card would look like. Okay, so they're going to give you a topic, right? And this is kind of what it looks like. It says, describe a time when you learned something new. Okay, so describe a time when you learned about something new. Our instruction over here says, look at the example of a 2 task card. We know what the topic is, and write the words in each instruction, or write down the keywords, right? In each prompt, rather. It's not an instruction, but it's a question. Okay. The first underlined word has been done for you, right? You should say what. That's the most important word there, right? What you learned. Okay. Well, think about some other keywords. These are the prompts. Okay. These are the questions that relate to the topic. Okay. All of them relate, of course, to this. To describe something, a time where you learned something new, right? And the last one, notice it asks you to talk about your feelings there, right? What are the keywords? All you have to do is identify the keywords or the most important words. Yeah, I don't mind. You can all do it together on the board, right, if you want. Okay, how? Yeah, how you felt about it. That's a very important one, right? Or sorry, not how you felt about it, how you learned it, how you went about learning this. Did you learn it online? Did you learn it at school? Did you learn it at home? Who taught you? Who was your teacher? Did you learn it from a book, right? Yeah, you can also talk a little bit about, the steps, the things that you did, right? Oh, I first learned or heard about it online, right? Then I went onto YouTube and I watched a video on how to do whatever it was. I watched it a few times because it was quite difficult at first, but the more I did it, it became easier, right? So maybe tell me a little bit about, how you learned something. Okay. What are the keywords for the next one? What the result was? Then can you maybe help us with that one? What are some keywords for the next prompt? What the result was? Any idea? Not sure? Are you with us? Anybody? What is the next keyword? What is the keyword in this sentence? Hi, son, what do you think? The next one, what the result was.
I have no idea.
Oh, just the keywords over here. Like, what was the result, right? What was the result? What happened because of that? Maybe you learned how to, I don't know, do something new. Like, maybe it's a new sport for the first time, right? You went mountain climbing, rock climbing. Maybe you and your friends eventually went outdoors and you climbed a big rock face, or learned how to make a certain meal at home. Now you know how to, make that particular meal. You know which ingredients to use, you know how to cook it, you know how to do things. And maybe the result was like you could have made this, right? Made this food maybe for your friends or your family or yourself or whatever the case may be. When did you eat it, right? Maybe it was like for a special event or a festival, or when your family all came together, right? Explain how you felt about it. Okay, so how, I would say, explain how and felt about learning that whole process are some important words there, right? How did you feel about it? Was it good? Were you happy with yourself? Were you proud of yourself? And why? Okay. Identifying the keywords, understanding the question is very, very important. Okay. And if you don't fully understand it, it's okay. Just ask the examiner, right, to help you understand the task card. So if there's something you don't understand, once again, make sure that you fully understand what's on the card. Okay. All of you, you can go into the next activity. We're going to open up in class exercise number 7, right? Those are your keywords, by the way, if you want to see them. Those are the most important words in these questions. These questions are also known as prompts. You will find both words, questions, prompts, right? Spelling is like this. They're called prompts. They're there for you to use to extend or make your talk longer, right? Notice that there are how many prompts? 4 of them. Okay, there are 4 prompts. The last prompt you should use for your conclusion, right? Make sure you use the last one there to talk about a conclusion. Okay. In class exercise number 7, you can all open up the next activity in class exercise number 7. Okay. I'm going to put it on the board. Here we go. This is the next activity. I want you to do this alone first, so I'm going to take away your permission. Here we go. In class exercise 7, it says complete the student's notes by adding A to D to the correct part of the card, right? All you have to do is match these numbers, letters 1 to, numbers 1 to 4 over here, with the information A to D. Okay. So take 2 minutes, read through it carefully, but also start getting ideas, right? Remember, this is going to be your card. I'm going to ask you to start speaking about it in a moment. So if you are finished, start getting some ideas for what you want to say. Okay, you have 2 minutes to complete this exercise, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. You can quickly write the answers on the board. All of you, take a moment, quickly write what are the answers, right? Quickly write the answers on the board. Match numbers 1 to 4 with letters A to D. So learn to ski, what you learned, D. Yeah, maybe you can add information about, oh, I learned to ski and I love it. I love being active. Means to do activities, to do exercise. Okay. How you learned about it? Maybe you were in a group. You could learn things by yourself, just one person, right? Or you could be in a group of students or people. You had a great instructor, maybe a coach, someone, some kind of teacher who helped you learn. What was the result? Maybe you really enjoyed it and you became a bit competitive and you started competing in competitions. You got a silver cup or a gold cup. Um, and maybe the last one, explain how you felt about learning something new. Well, obviously, your emotion words, right? Your adjectives. How did you feel inside? Notice we use the ed adjective there to talk about how we feel, right? Okay. All right. All of you, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to make notes, right? I'm going to put you back into groups and I'm going to ask you to talk. So, in just a moment, you will have a chance to speak, right? And I would like you to try, for those who struggle a bit, just try get over 1 minute at least. Try your best, right? You'll have 2 minutes of talking time each, right? Make notes now, right? You've got some time. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to write down some notes. So make notes for the topic and use the keywords to help you. Remember, um, here were the keywords. Okay. And also, we're going to practice talking with our partners, right? Okay. So I'm going to put you into groups in a moment. Please take 2 minutes to write notes. You have 2 minutes to make notes. Okay. I'm going to put you in groups and I'm going to ask you to practice talking in just a moment, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to ask one of you to begin for us, please. Paisan, I'm going to ask you first, right? You have got 2 minutes. Could you please um, describe a time when you learned something new for us, please? You may begin. Any idea? Don't forget to unmute your mic, right?
Um, what you learn?
Okay, what is something that you learned at school, by yourself?
Um,
All right. Nee, could you maybe begin for us? I'm going to listen to you again just now, right? But can you start by describing something that you learned, right? You have 2 opportunities to talk, actually. This is your first one, so you may begin.
Mm, I would learn about cooking.
All right, any ideas?
I don't know. I don't
Anything
know.
that you learned at school? Maths, history,
No,
geography, a new skill, how to cook something?
a lot of so many subjects.
Okay, so then there's quite a lot to talk about. What is one thing you talk about? Anything, doesn't matter.
Okay. Um, I learned a lot of subjects at my school, like math, uh, literature, uh, science, and English.
Okay. And how did you learn it?
I'm good at math, but I'm not good at English.
Okay. I think you can put sentences together quite well, actually. I think you can. So what we have to do is just get you saying more of them, right? What you just said, I'm not really good at maths. I'm really good at maths, but I'm not so good at English. And you can talk about either one of those, right? You can talk about maths, what you are good at.
Uh,
Okay, because I think you can speak. I think you can do it. We've just, just got to get you used to saying more ideas, right? Okay. Ming, are you with us? Please turn your camera on. I'm going to ask you the same question, right? Could you tell me about a time you learned something new?
The times I learned something new. So every time I learn something new is a difficult time for me because the like nobody's hard. But my difficult subject. So the first time I learned math is on the when I was sick, and, and I tried to learn math, but it's hard for me, so I always get bad score at exam. So mom sent me to a lot of class and tried to make me better, but yeah, but I don't know. Well, I'm always bad at math, you know. It's like, yeah, I get a bad score and everything like that. Yeah, that's all.
So you okay, got a bad score, and maybe that was maybe not a positive experience. What do you think would help? I mean, when it comes to learning things, how could you make the experience better, or how could you get better at learning things or doing things?
So I do a lot of homework and answer all my teacher questions. So now, yeah, I better a little, but yeah, it's good.
It's also about how you, yeah, trying. I mean, like in your talk now, you gave me a much longer answer and you were trying. You put yourself in a position where you tried a lot harder to develop your ideas. That is a very important thing when it comes to learning, right? There will be times where you don't feel comfortable, but you have to put yourself there and just try because that's how you get better, right? Practice, practice, practice. Okay. When it comes to languages, also, not just about doing homework, but how much you speak, right? So making friends with a native English speaker, having an opportunity to talk, right? Okay. I'm going to ask you, could you describe a time when you learned something new? Any idea? What is something you learned? Maths, science?
I learned I learned how to pronunciation
Hmm?
either question and answer.
Okay, so what in pronunciation did you learn? What new words did you learn? Anything in particular, new words that you might have learned? Some new pronunciation?
After
Mhm.
I speak after the teacher.
Okay. I'm going to be back with you now, boys. I just want to listen to the girls quickly. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you a question. Again, sorry, I didn't have a chance to listen to you, but now I do. Could you tell me about a time you learned something new? I know you've answered it, but I'd like to listen to you.
Uh, I learned about the cooking. I learned with my mom for to cooking dinner with her for family. And I learned to uh, cooking well because in the past I cook very well. Can cook anything. And now I can cook so food in the meat after dinner with my mom. And I feel about that learning is very need to need my life in the future.
All right. So there we go, getting over the 1 minute mark. The next goal would be to get to like the 1 minute 30 mark, right? That's a good amount of time for an answer. Um, so which parts do you think you could have made a little bit longer? I think you are the strongest in the class by far. You are able to answer part 1 and part 2 questions, right? With good grammar. Yeah. You should be proud of yourself, right? Yeah. You can give good answers. Very coherent answers. Need to maybe develop some ideas a bit more and work on a bit of fluency, but I think you have got a very good base to give good answers and to work towards getting quite a high score one day. Okay. All right. All of you, we've only got about 2 minutes left of our class. I want to quickly just jump over some of the things over here today. Don't forget, when it comes to learning new words, you have to learn them by common IELTS topics. So, learning words like this and using them in your speech is really important if you want better marks for the vocabulary that you use. Pay attention to how native English speakers use words and phrases, and also listen out. Practice and repeat. Practice and repeat. Listen, repeat. Listen, repeat, right? Get good at listening. Listen a lot more, right? Listening will improve your speaking. So if you don't have many opportunities to speak, well, then make sure that you are using your opportunities to listen as much as you can. Start slowly, play recordings slowly, stop and repeat, right? Learn, right? And listen to how pronunciation and stress and intonation is used as well. Remember, you will have part 1 questions, which will ask you basic things, but you need at least about 3 or 4 points, right? Don't just say, I want to work as a doctor because I make money, but maybe a few more things, right? Doctors make a lot of money, whatever, whatever, but they also can help people, especially sick people. What kind of doctor do you want to work as? Maybe I want to work as a surgeon or a general doctor. Doctors are also well respected in Vietnam. People, look up to them quite a bit. Okay, so make sure that you are making your part 1 answers long enough. A lot of you are able to do it. You just don't know what to do, or you're scared to try put the ideas together. But this is a safe environment and it's a good time to practice. Because in the IELTS test, it's a real examination. Okay. And if you can't perform under these conditions, it's going to be very hard in the test, right? So use these opportunities to practice and get better and to get a bit more confident. Okay. Don't forget to look at your key card, make sure that you understand the key card, and also take your minute and use it wisely to identify words and things you want to talk about, right? Some of you didn't really use your time to make notes or to get ideas together. That's shows, right? Use your time to make good notes. Okay. All of you, I will see you again next week. You are all free to leave. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye, you too.